Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone that you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say thank you for being a friend. We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. Yeah, we are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. Love that makes you know. He can't fucking breathe. Love that makes you know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Ben Bronco. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, you're tuned into the only podcast willing to die on the hill for the fact that a hot dog is technically a taco, and a taco is technically a sandwich. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I have got a glorious panel here with me to break down the shit talking and the shenanigans, to get into the fight announcements and the fuckery that has fallen down the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful people last. Before we get into all that, though, first and foremost, gentlemen, how the fuck you doing this evening?
Welcome to our fucking UFC 300. That's what I'll say.
Basically.
Yeah, I've loved the meme you've been posting the past week of Marab staring at those big old breastises. That's us just staring 299 down, man. Just can't stop
Yeah,
gawking
baby.
at it. Fucking excited as hell. We're just a couple sleeps away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as we like to do to kick things off around here, now we're going to give you the combat sports menu for the weekend before we get into anything, because I keep fucking forgetting. So, we're doing that right up front because this weekend, more than most this year so far at least, is jam fucking packed with combat sports. For those of you who don't know, PFL Europe actually went off just a few hours ago. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a little while. But kicking off first thing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, possibly the biggest heavyweight boxing fight since Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury, which is the rematch that comes up after this fight. So this could be possibly the second biggest heavyweight boxing matchup of the year, maybe of our fucking lifetime. Definitely bigger than the one that's going to be happening in July in Cowboy Stadium that we're not going to actually talk about later because what a fucking joke that is. But after the Ngannou boxing match tomorrow, kicking off at noon Central Standard Time, Aries FC 19. That's right, France is back in it since MMA is legal over there. They are going full fucking bore. Aries FC kicks off over there. There are a couple names the casuals are going to recognize on that one. Hardcores will know probably half a dozen or so on that card. But again, it gives us more fights to talk about for Fridays. So, as if they weren't done then, winding tomorrow afternoon over. 7 p.m. tomorrow evening kicks off One Fight Night number 20. This is from over in Thailand, but it is on Amazon Prime, so you can catch it here in the States. This is one of those ONE FC cards that we tell you guys about, even if you don't know anyone on this card. As a casual combat sports fan, this is one of the things you want to tune into. Only 2 MMA fights on this card. 1 kickboxing, 1 grappling only, and 5 MMA and 4-ounce, or excuse me, 5 Muay Thai and 4-ounce MMA gloves. Excuse me, words are hard live sometimes. Muay Thai in 4-ounce MMA gloves is fucking spectacular, and that's the predominant chunk of this card. So tomorrow evening will be fucking spectacular over on ONE Amazon Prime, so much more easily accessible than most of their cards. But not to be outdone, even then, tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Central Standard, LFA 178. This is another one of those feeder organizations for the UFC that we talk about all the time. Casuals are going to know, again, about a half a dozen names on this card. The hardcores are probably going to know a dozen-ish. But any of these names with a good performance could potentially be someone you see in the UFC in just a couple of months. So combat sports all fucking day tomorrow. And then that brings us to Saturday's UFC Welcome to Miami for $299 early prelims rather, kicking off at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time Saturday. Afternoon/evening cards back after that ridiculousness from the previously scratched almost Saudi Arabia card that was early and obnoxious for no good fucking reason. Back to regularly scheduled nonsense at regularly scheduled times this coming weekend for the UFC. But holy shit, all day tomorrow, if you've got a free moment, there's somebody getting hit that you can go watch all fucking day. So wanted to get that one out front because, like I said, there's plenty to look forward to. That being said, news and recent events, confirmations, things that are relevant for the combat sports world. First and foremost, before we get into any of the actual fight announcements for this week, in my personal opinion, as not just an MMA fan, but as an MMA content consumer, as an educated person to a degree, of my own volition, this one I feel is more relevant than anything else in the MMA space. Very, very fucking quietly over the course of the last week, the UFC's shelter subsidiary, an offshoot shadow company, if you will, indirectly but directly tied to the UFC and TKO, has completely and outright purchased the entirety of Bloody Elbow. They were previously under the Vox with a V, news corporation, organization, conglomerate, whatever you want to call them. They did a corporate reshuffling, let go of that section. They went on Substack for a while and were doing their own truly independent journalism for a while. Apparently that just was not financially sustainable enough for everyone that they had on the payroll. And this company that's, again, tied but not tied, wink, wink for those just listening, to the UFC and TKO, has literally swept in, bought Bloody Elbow, and in the course of 3 fucking days, completely sanitized their entire fucking website, removing any article that even hinted at or pertained to any potential misdeeds, misdoings, or relevant pointing fingers towards by the UFC in regards to the upcoming antitrust lawsuit. Bloody Elbow being the source of the 2 top journalists in the fucking world, keeping the closest and most honest and unbiased watch on this class action lawsuit. They have now been completely swept up and bought by a UFC subsidiary company, and all of that relevant information, in a literal snap of a fucking finger, has been wiped and sanitized from their website. Thanks to the Wayback Machine and others who have reposted and recopied that work, it does still exist out in the ether. But this is exactly one of those moments where, with the antitrust lawsuit literally coming up in a little more than a month for the UFC, they are starting to do potential damage control after we found out last week a baker's dozen of the UFC's potential defendants or potential testifying people on their behalf for the lawsuit have been ruled out by the judge, non-allowed to testify at all, and anything they had previously testified that was going to be admitted will be stricken from the case going forward. So this is them starting to do the damage control, spinning out closer towards the court case itself coming down. And whether people realize it or not, this is going to have an impact directly on how much of the facts of this case actually get out to folks like us who aren't physically sitting in that courtroom to see how it actually comes out. Because the only other alternative we will be left with is someone who's either owned by or directly employed for the UFC to give us the results going forward. And how often in the past has that ever led us to A, facts, or B, the actual information that we need and want and deserve? Very fucking few. So this is a genuine hats off fucking sad moment day in the MMA journalism space, because Bloody Elbow, in my opinion, the single greatest source for actual real relevant MMA journalism, has just had its fucking legs cut out from right underneath it.
I'm hoping we get some of those guys that do some of that great journalism jump ship and go start their own fucking business. Because you know what?
A couple of them have talked about doing just that. The majority of them were still under some form of contract, but I believe I can't say for sure. I have heard from people who are in the know about the situation that at least one of the predominant 2 that we followed Bloody Elbow for their journalism in this aspect is going to go independent and get the fuck away from this new company so that they can hopefully continue to do the journalism that we appreciate and fucking need. Fingers crossed.
We can only hope, because otherwise we're going to have a hard time finding out legitimate information. Because once shit like that gets happening, you don't get the, well, we've heard from a legitimate source. It's we've heard nothing.
Right. Or the UFC's press statement says,
Yeah, which I'm sure that's a lot of what the bloody elbow is going to turn into.
Yeah, very much so. At least from what their website is now, that's sure what it fucking looks like, which sucks a whole fucking lot. So we'll see. Definitely something that I, for one, will be keeping a fucking eye on going forward. But that's a serious fucking nail in the heart of honest MMA journalism, in my opinion. We'll see. That being said, tying a little bit back to last weekend, because again, with all the craziness, there was some big newsworthy moments from last weekend here. First and foremost, after doing what the vast majority of us expected him to do, some of us exactly when they expect him to do, check the Tapology record, laying Ryan Bader the fuck out in under a minute. Renan Ferreira has officially announced that he is going to take his PFL versus Bellator champs versus champs belt with the Go-Go Power Rangers fucking ring insert thing and sit out the 2024 PFL seasons. He got his guaranteed ticket for the Francis Ngannou show. He has no interest in competing in that 8-month grind that is the regular tournament season, playoffs, and all of that nonsense. He already got more money than he would have won from the tournament. So he's going to sit out. He said whether Francis Ngannou fights at the end of this year or we have to wait until 2025 to get in the cage with him. Either way, we know that we're next, and the paycheck we will get for just stepping in there with him will be worth however long we have to sit on the sidelines and wait. So that's exactly what we're going to do. This is one of the rare situations. I think that's actually the right move. The way that the PFL season works, and I do appreciate that they run a season and the way that they do it. It is a legitimate grind. There is no go through a camp, have a fight, have recovery. Go through a camp, have a fight, have recovery. It is literally, I believe they fight 7 times in the course of 7 months. There is no in between camps. You have to stay on weight. You have to stay as healthy as possible. You have to heal your injuries as quickly and as efficiently as you possibly can because you have to turn right the fuck around. That's a hard grind, especially at heavyweight, especially against a guy like Francis fucking Ngannou. We have seen what he can do. I don't blame that man for making sure that he is ready and not wearing his body out before that. Good on you, sir. That being said, I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Francis fucking flatlines him. Assuming Francis doesn't get career and life-wise changed in his boxing foray, I still think Francis has got enough for Renan, but it's going to be fun if we get to it. That being said, I can't say that they were both the most surprising, but the timing of them at least was a little bit surprising. We got a pair, not one, but 2 retirements last weekend at the UFC event. The first one, Jamie Pickett, after his 5th loss in a row, understandably decided that it is time to hang him up. He says, I've got girls at home that depend on me and I can't keep losing to get a paycheck. So I'm going to go do something else. And I cannot fucking blame him at all. That's a perfect example of what we would rather see someone head out, being able to fucking sign your name legibly and form complete sentences than the alternative. So absolutely tip of the fucking cap to you, sir. Best of luck in your future journey. The other one that I think that did catch a lot of people off guard, Tyson Pedro said after his fight, and I quote, "The dream has changed, brother. Time to go down the next path." You cannot in any way, shape, or form be mad at that. That is exactly the example of we would rather see you go out when you want to go out, not when you have to go out. He doesn't want to do this anymore, so he's not going to do this anymore. He's got a family. He's got a decent enough fucking record. He could absolutely keep doing this for years, but it's not what he wants to do anymore, and he's got kids. Go fucking do what makes you happy. You're financially set enough at this point. You don't have to get punched in the fucking face. Don't. Nobody with a brain will be mad at you for that. So, again, best of luck to Tyson on his future endeavors as well. Both of those gentlemen put in more than their time to earn the right to go off and do whatever the fuck they want at this point. So good on you, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your lives. That being said, we got a pair of interesting announcements regarding this upcoming weekend's UFC 299 card taking place in Miami. The first one, we were all kind of suspicious about because there had been rumors for a hot minute now, especially after the recent performance, but it was confirmed this week. Merab Dvalishvili will be weighing in as the main event backup down in Miami for UFC 299. Should anything happen on either side, he will be stepping in and fighting for that fucking belt. So Merab is at the top of the list. It is confirmed now, which I think is fucking cool. It's about goddamn time, but better late than never. He's still capable. He's still there. Give him his fucking shot. If something happens here, cool, get in there. If not, he's clearly fucking next for whoever. So good on the UFC for that one. The other one, I mean, first and foremost, Florida's going to Florida, regardless of how big or how fancy the show that you bring down there. Florida's going to Florida. Well, that extends all the way to the athletic commissions as well, because we got confirmation Tuesday in the middle of fight week that because Florida's commission, and I quote, I'm using air quotes for those who are just listening, does things a little different down here, the standard 2-hour window for weigh-ins, usually on Friday morning, generally from 10 a.m. local time to noon local time, for weigh-ins, is not going to be how things get done for the pay-per-view UFC 299 in Miami. No. Per the Florida State Athletic Commission, how they're going to work for this particular set of weigh-ins, all fighters on the card will have just 1 hour from 9 a.m. local time until 10 a.m. local time to complete their weigh-in. At 10 a.m., anyone who has not weighed in will not get to weigh in, because from 10 a.m. local time until 11 a.m. local time, that hour specifically and only is for any fighters who showed up during the first hour of weigh-ins and missed weight for their second attempt to make weight. No fighter will be allowed for their first attempt to weigh in after the first hour. I don't know that any other athletic commission has done anything like this, at least any time in recent memory. This is absolutely going to give some folks problems tomorrow morning. I fucking promise you.
On the plus side to that, it's going to make for a very short UFC weigh-in show. And sometimes their weigh-in shows are fucking out of control with stupidity.
There is silver linings to some shitty situations, and that is absolutely one here, because I don't need 7 hours of DC staring at, or I mean, definitely not staring at Lorisenko bouncing all over the fucking place in way bouncy tops.
I'm not gonna lie, I stare too.
I don't mind it, but I don't need to hear DC while it's happening. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough. Totally ruins the vibe.
Exactly. That being said, though, we got kind of an interesting one from, it was kind of from last weekend, but we didn't find out about it officially until this week. Over in Germany, in the Eurasian region over there, is a promotion called Octagon, spelled Oktagon. It's another one of the feeder organizations that sends a lot of their European fighters over to the UFC once they reach the pinnacle as well. We had an interesting situation with one of their events 2 weeks ago now. UFC veteran Heza Madadi and then one other coach whose name isn't relevant were officially announced banned from the Octagon organization for life, because the two of them, while acting as a coach for a fighter, got into a fight and essentially 2-on-1 jumped another fighter backstage when they were getting ready to go out to their fight, resulting in literally police and local security getting involved and potential charges being pressed by the organization at this point, not by the arena, but by Octagon MMA as an organization. So, you know, it had to be pretty fucking crazy, considering we routinely see backroom and even weigh-in fights
from that side of the world and the shenanigans, not specifically with Octagon, but in that region of the MMA world. So it had to be pretty fucking serious. So I will say I do talk about Octagon's events quite often because there are routinely folks that I and a lot of other people recognize. We've even gotten a couple people from that organization into the UFC already. So it's interesting to see them acting 100% professional here and taking shit to the proper degree. You fuck around, you're going to find out. Sorry, Heza, you fucked up. Now you're going to deal with it. Good on Octagon in my opinion. That being said, back over to current UFC news here. Quake Brad Riddell is officially out of next weekend's UFC Vegas 87 matchup with Thiago Moises. Mitch Ramirez, short notice, is going to be making his debut. Contender Series alum Mitch Ramirez steps in for Brad Riddell to face Thiago Moises next weekend. Kind of a more interesting matchup, in my opinion, realistically here. Seems like Quake has had a series of injuries go on here. Hopefully everything gets all straightened out with him, but I'm here for Thiago versus Mitch Ramirez. I think it's going to be a pretty good fucking matchup to make up for the fight that we lost. That being said, we saw one half of the shuffle not that long ago. Coming up in 2 weeks, we get the other half of the Tafa shuffle completed. Justin Tafa will now step in for his brother and take on Carl Williams in the matchup for March 23rd's UFC Vegas 89 card. So Tafa shuffle completed. That's fucking awesome that the UFC and both of the respective opponents have let them do that, and I think it's fucking cool. It's not something that we see very often. Obviously, it's not something that there's an opportunity to have happen very often, but when something as odd as this comes up and they let something like this happen and then play the second piece to bookend it with cool fucking stories, good on them. I get that the UFC is in a knee-deep pile of shit right now and they need all the good fucking publicity they can get, but still, it's nice to see it. That being said, there was a lot of what ifs and a lot of wondering. Well, it is all officially been put to bed now. Bellator 303 is officially confirmed to be taking place in Paris, France, May 17th, and they've got their main event for that card announced. The return from suspension of Usman Nurmagomedov defending his title against Alex Shabli. Very, very interested in how that matchup is going to play and how Usman's going to look coming off of a steroid suspension that has prevented now 2 potential title defenses for him. The co-main event on Bellator 303 live from Paris has also been announced, and it will also be another title fight over on the Bellator side of things. Patchy Mix will now be defending his belt against Magomed Magomedov. Another very interesting fight. Another one that a lot of people thought, based on tournament results from the Grand Prix, had some potential to get matched up, and sure the fuck, here it is. So Bellator 303 from Paris, May 17th, double titles to headline. Not mad at that at all. Good on them. Now, back over to the UFC side of things a little bit here. Kind of weird that we still don't have all of the March and April cards worked out yet, but the UFC is already ready to announce that August 3rd, for the first time in UFC history, a non-pay-per-view, yes, an actual fight night card will be taking place as the one and only show in Abu Dhabi this year. August 3rd will be UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi. I am kind of curious to see how that works out here. They have had a couple of fight nights from Abu Dhabi before, but they were all during the quote unquote Fight Island run where they were over there for a month and a half, 2 months at one point in time. And they just literally did several cards in a row, similar to what they do in the Apex during downtimes. That's kind of what they did over in Abu Dhabi at one point. And since then, it has been nothing but pay-per-view events over there. Until this year, apparently. It's going to be very interesting, seeing as how now we will have a fight night Abu Dhabi and a Fight Night Saudi Arabia, I'm curious. We already know Saudi Arabia is going to have to get stacked, seeing as how they don't play over there either. I'm assuming right now the Fight Night Abu Dhabi is going to end up stacked as fuck as well. So this is definitely going to throw a very heavy monkey wrench into the summer and early fall plans for the UFC, because that's 2 Fight Night cards coming up in the summer and fall already that you're going to have to build like a pay-per-view, but you won't make money like a pay-per-view on. So with
All
everything
they
else
have
the
to
UFC
do-
has going on, go ahead.
All they have to do with the Abu Dhabi card, put Kamzat as the fucking main event, and they will take it.
Yeah, they've got some options for the Abu Dhabi card for sure. Saudi Arabia is going to be a lot trickier, but either way, these are going to be a pair of Fight Night cards that they can't build like Fight Night cards. These are going to have to be similar to Mexico City that they just did, where they legitimately bring title fights to non-pay-per-view cards, and they can't fuck around with either one of them because there's big money and accountability tied to both now. So I'm here for it. It's going to be interesting. That being said, we got confirmation this week. A lot of people suspected, but we did get confirmation. Taila Santos, former UFC title challenger, then released from the UFC, has now officially signed with the PFL and will be competing in the 2024 first ever PFL strawweight division. So interesting to see how that works. PFL adding more ladies division. Taila Santos clearly very capable at UFC level, just not quite to championship level. Heading over to PFL, that young lady looks like she's got a pretty good chance to get herself $1 million in a belt this year. Back over on the UFC side of things, though, we got confirmation this week that amid all of the current legal fiascos, I believe will be the best word to use it, going on right now, Vince McMahon has officially sold off $411 million in TKO holding stocks. This now being the second time he has done a plus $400 million stock sell-off. Still hasn't really touched the totality of what he owns, but the fact that he has now been able to sell off nearly $1 billion with a B, $1 billion worth of stock in the company that he was just formerly a co-chairman to, and this whole situation with him hasn't even begun to actually play out yet, kind of says a lot. I think stock prices are going to drop pretty fucking heavily here pretty soon. So if you're thinking about investing, it may be a good time to get those nickels and pennies ready, because it'll be a good time to buy in real fucking cheap when this shit bottoms before it bounces. But just goes to show you where the winds are starting to head at the top of this fucking mountain, where Vince is now sold off almost billion worth of his assets in the company before he gets completely removed from the walls of history. On the other side of the UFC news, though, maybe not any better, but on the other side of it, the UFC confirmed this week that they have officially extended their contracts with Venom to produce all UFC fight kits, now running through the end of 2029. So they will end the 2020s decade wearing Venom kits in the UFC. Not that that money's actually done any better than any of the other companies previously to them, but we now know for sure it will be Venom gear that the fighters are wearing.
That pisses me off when I saw that, because that's still fucking fighters out of being able to carry their own fucking extra money around.
It's no better than the Reebok deal, in my opinion. No, it's still shit. Now we just know that it's shit for the rest of the decade, essentially. That being said, last one I've got. And I laugh just reading it on my notes. Despite all of the hype and all of the tough talk and all of the trash talk, leading into this afternoon's PFL Europe main event. We were talking about it a little bit before the show here. The main event did officially come to an end this afternoon by way of a TKO on the grounds of a splinter. Yes, Cedric Doumbé got a splinter in his widow toe, tried to get the fight stopped so he could get the splinter pulled out of his toe. When Mark Goddard said, "You don't get to stop the fight, you have to fight on," and Cedric literally stepped back and stepped away, Goddard officially waved it off, to which Cedric Doumbé pulled the splinter out of his toe and said, "No, I'm ready to go." And Goddard explained, "You don't get to do that. If you're not going to fight, I'm going to wave the fight off. You stopped fighting, I waved it off. The fight is done." I don't believe they ever even threw a single strike either way. Cedric got his splinter walking into the cage. So, despite all the hype, Doumbé officially loses his main event to a splinter in his fucking toe. I am not making this up. This is not satire. This is not an Onion story. This is 100% genuine, boys and girls. The French hype man lost to a splinter in his toe in his main event tonight.
You know, if I'm that promotion, I might be a little pissed off for Goddard stopping the fight like that. I would have let him get fucking punched in the face because his opponent didn't do shit. His opponent, when you go back and you watch that, he said, "Keep fighting," and his opponent just sat there and did nothing.
Yeah, he waited for him.
He could have fucking thrown his opponent out and fucking called it the other way, but to me, I have a feeling that's going to get fucking overturned. And then they're going to have to fucking run it back. And also, how the fuck do you get a splinter in your toe on the way to the fucking cage? What kind of...
Yeah, and the top front of his big toe as well.
What kind of fucked up conditions do they have there where that's even a possibility for you as a fighter on the way to the ring? Whether it's in the back during warm-ups, there should be fucking mats on the ground for you so shit like that isn't happening.
And he was the main event. So he was literally the last person of an entire night of other people who have literally went exactly where he just walked from the back all the way to the fucking cage. So how the fuck in all of that does he of all fucking people catch one in the toe at the end?
Did they pull the fucking mats up in the back and there was fucking plywood underneath?
Right, something.
You know, I'm shooting the fucking moon there because that's something that's fucking crazy. Yeah, you lose because you got a splinter in your fucking toe. To be honest, I don't think that should be the way that fight ended. He should have let him get his ass beat with a splinter in his toe, because the first time he took a punch, he would have went, "My toe don't fucking hurt no more.
It don't matter no more, yeah."
Yeah. And then he would have had him pull it out in between fucking rounds, and he would have been just fine. But that is one of the strangest fucking ways to end a fight in all of fucking MMA. And to be honest, if Goddard doesn't catch some sort of shit over this, I think the MMA community as a whole is fucking wrong. Because at that point, you don't stop the fight because they're both just staring at each other. Somebody let fucking Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis do that shit for 5 fucking rounds.
I was going to say, has anyone seen a Yoel fight lately?
I'm just saying.
5 years?
I'm just saying. They don't have to fucking throw a fucking punch to win.
Yeah, that's the thing I think was controversial. It's not the fucking... You don't stop the fight because dude's got a splinter in his foot, right? And you quit being a bitch. Dudes have fucking had their lips fucking hanging off, half their face fucking hanging off. We've seen some ridiculous shit, right? Dudes fucking tough it out, win the fight even. Come back and win fights with half their face hanging off. For fuck's sake, you think about the Rory McDonald, Robbie Lawler fight, or you think about RoboCop against Chidi and Jaquani just the other year, the nasty fucking cut he had right here above his eyebrows. He came back, got the fucking win. What the fuck does a splinter in the toe matter? Just like TJ said, Mark Goddard should let him fucking fight. He should have been giving the other guy shit, just like you guys mentioned, instead of just looking at Doumbé like, "No, fight." The other dude's just standing back, and he literally, after Goddard's like, "Fight," the dude steps back, and he's just like, "Oh no, I'm not going to fight him because he's not fighting." That's where you as a ref, like Herb Dean was doing in the Moreno fucking Roy Ball main event weeks ago. Come on, let's fucking go, you bitches. Get to work. Get to work. We ain't fucking pussyfooting around here. This is a fucking fight. You motherfuckers get paid money to beat the shit out of each other. Let's go.
I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not fucking covering for Doombe here. Look, you had a splinter in
No,
your
this is
foot.
just Goddard shouldn't have called
Fight.
it's main event. Fucking give
But
fans a goddamn fight. I'm sick
you
and tired
should
of
have
seeing that
known you
shit.
had a splinter in your foot the second you stepped foot in the fucking cage. Now,
Right.
did it happen in the cage somehow? If that's the case, yeah, then they need to give him time because it's a fucking cage
If
issue.
something happened, yeah.
But it's hard to tell where it actually took place and why did it all of a sudden start bothering him there. My guess is it probably had something to do with the cage because they do lay plywood down below those fucking mats, and then it's just a
Flooring, yeah.
fucking canvas stretched over fucking like half-inch fucking plywood or whatever the fuck they use as a top. So I'm guessing it did happen in the cage, but still, that's a fucked up situation all the way
That
around.
sucks. Yep. Agreed. Agreed. But that's what I've got for news and recent events this week. Either one of you boys have anything I might have missed?
Um, I I don't want to mention this, but Uriah Faber is going to be fighting again in his own promotion, headlining. At 44 fucking years old. They dropped a video for it yesterday or the day before. So, it's MMA related. So I'm not going to mention the other thing because the other thing is fucking dumb. And the world doesn't need to know about that.
Oh yeah. The only thing fucking I've got is nothing confirmed, just rumors. There's a fight fan dream that I'd love to see happen instead of Royval getting a title shot again or Mokaev. They've heard rumblings that the UFC might be looking to re-sign Kyoji Horiguchi. And
I
if
have
they
heard
did
that
that
as
and he
well.
gets the title shot against Pantoja, I think as a fight fan, that's the fucking best goddamn thing we could get.
I've seen two different places now that are generally both places are generally pretty accurate with their fucking rumors that they talk about. Both places have said that someone from the UFC has been in talks with Kyoji Horiguchi's camp that he is potentially going to be getting re-signed just for a title fight, literally being brought back for a specific matchup here, potentially for UFC 301 down in Rio. So
That'd be a hell of a fucking fight.
I'm fucking here for it. I don't think the UFC should do that a lot, but this is again one of those rare fucking situations. Two fucking thumbs up for my fat ass. I am on fucking board with this one. Sign that man, even if it's just a potential one fight contract with a potential, championship clause attached to the end of it. If he wins, keep him. If he loses, let him go back.
It was one of the dudes they should have never let go in the first fucking place, for sure.
Agreed.
Make the most exciting fucking matchup in the flyweight division right now. Because Mokaev, he needs a little bit more work. As young as the kid is, as much potential as he has, I wouldn't want to see him get the title shot yet. I just want to see him, do a little more work.
Yep, I agree. Well, that being said, that is what we have got for news and recent events for this week. This would normally be the point in a podcast where you would see some shitty B-roll ad going for some fucking company that doesn't have anything to do with the podcast, something that no one on the show actually fucking uses, and the company generally doesn't give a fuck about the podcast itself. We don't fucking operate like that around here on the I'm No Joe podcast. If you like what we get up to around here, if you would like to help us do what we do around here, patreon.com/I'm No Joe. For as little as $1 a month, you help us do what we do around here. And as a thank you, first of all, you get your name printed on the end of every single broadcast on this channel so that everyone knows how much of a badass that you are. But the bigger, some would say more important part is you get unrestricted access to behind the scenes, unaired and sometimes unairable shenanigans that only get brought over to the Patreon side of things. So as well as helping us do something that we love to do, we give you a little back in return. That being said, this is all done free. Every week there is a show. You are under no obligation to give us a penny. Just coming and hanging out is good enough as well. That being said, if you do like it, maybe tell a friend. Helps out just as much. But if you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us have been watching combat sports, you start to know what you like to watch, when it comes on, where you watch it, and inadvertently you develop a set of blinders, so to speak. You start to lose the forest for the trees. Well, luckily for us old fucks here, on the show, we have got ourselves a bona fide young person who gets out there every damn day and just ever so vigilantly fingers the pulse of the MMA world and lets us know all of the names that are going to be names before they actually are names in a little segment that we call Slow Scans and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. Now, I actually have a lot of contenders on this card this week. Like we were talking about earlier, it's that Marab staring at that big old pair of titties. There's a lot to gawk at, but I've got some cans. I'm going to throw them out there real quick. A fight that I just absolutely give no fucks about. And luckily, his first fight of the night, always one of the best ones missed. Joanne Wood versus Marnia Monroes. Man, both these ladies have been tough at points in their career, right? But their back and forth is all hell. There's not a lot to be excited about this fight. Now I feel like that's the only reason anybody's still looking at UFC 300 is maybe the better pay-per-view, because the first few fights of this card are just whatever. They're toss-outs. But literally once you get through the first 3 fights, everything just starts to build and just crescendo up. So this fight thrown in the can. Joanne Wood, Marnia Monroes, not interested in it at all. Got another lady I got to throw in the can for this weekend too. Her name change, Now Caitlin Sermonara, used to be Caitlin Chikagian. She's the queen of fucking decisions, man. Every win she's ever had in her career always comes by decision. She's a tough ass fighter. She's literally been in a lot of tough ass fights, but she is not one of the greatest fighters. She does not have a shit ton of skill. She can't finish anybody worth a damn. And she's had, 17, almost 18 months of a layoff here. Don't know how she's going to look. Even if you don't like Macy Barber, the girl is young, 25 years old, and she's got some finishing potential, which is the complete opposite of what Chikagian can bring in here. So I'm throwing Chikagian in the can. Sermonara. Well, it's hard to fucking want to pronounce that name. I've always known her as Chikagian. I know she got married, but I'm still gonna go with Chikagian for right now. That's what everybody knows, right? When I fucking saw that on Sure Dog this week, I'm like, who the fuck is this chick? And then heard on podcasts later on, she just got married, changed her name. I had no fucking idea. I thought the UFC was giving some fucking debut shot to some new chick. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But I have to be honest with that. Josh Parisian, another one, just got to throw him in the can. They need heavyweights there. And that fight as a whole, you could throw in the can. Because the UFC is just so hungry for light heavyweights or heavyweights that the prospects are 35-year-olds that have a few professional fights in their entire career. Like, that's how I'm looking. I was joking with Vincent about it earlier today. This Josh Parisian and Robelis Despaigne fight. This Despaigne kid, 4-0 as a pro, 35 years old. All of his wins by knockout. So that's how I think Dana White, like somebody's sitting there trying to whisper in Dana's ear, Dana, he's 35, but he's got knockouts. But he's only had a few fights, but he's got knockouts. Like, that's how I think their dumbasses are working out. He's got finishes. I don't care that he's almost 40 years old. That's what we want, right? What the fuck moments. Well, no, you need that from a young kid. Like, you got to juice that shit up. Go out there and find a 4-0 fucking heavyweight that's 26 years old, and I'm actually excited about that. Don't know what the fuck we're doing here. So you could throw that whole fight in there, but Parisian especially, you got to throw in the can. Iwan Kutalaba is kind of the same thing for me, and Philippe Lanz. You can throw that fight in the can. Both of the guys can be exciting, but they've always been middle of the pack, back and forth. There's nothing too exciting for them. And Pedro Munoz, he's been in a lot of tough fights. He literally is tough as fuck. He's always somewhat in it, but just, kind of the gatekeeper at this point. Can't expect a ton from him. So I'm throwing him in the can as well. And I got somebody, we've coined the phrase from the brother meter, Schrodinger's can tender. Have another one of those this week. Peter Yan. He's my dude that's on the fence. Could be 0-5 in his last 5 fights. I thought that fight back in October 2021 against Corey Sandhagen, I thought Corey took that. So in my eyes, the dude's 0-5 in his last 5. Reality by record is 1-4. The fact that you've lost to the dudes that you've lost to, like Sean O'Malley, like that shouldn't have even been a close fight. Everybody still has looked at Peter Yan as one of the best bantamweights in the world for the past couple of years. It's looked pretty rough for him as of late. He really needs a bounce back win. He loses again, he'll never have a chance, in my opinion, to get back up towards the title. If he wins this, though, puts him back in the mix. So he's literally the definition of Meter Schrodinger's can tender. He is legitimately on the fence. This is the must-win fucking situation for him, and we'll see what he can do. Contenders, like I said, it was a little bit of a smorgasbord, and I'm going to be excited to hear what you guys got for yours. Throw Macy Barber in there just because, like I said, he's young. You need some fucking young, exciting fighters. And not necessarily that I love her. She's got a shit personality, in my opinion. She's just got some finishes behind her, some knockout ability. She's 25, so you would expect her to get better too. I've got her on there. JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, obviously, he's been a good fucking option for a contender already. He gets through Gilbert Burns. That dude is in the mix for title talks, especially with the UFC doing everything they can to avoid Bilal fucking Muhammad. So, Alton Almeida, another easy one, young fucking kid. He gets this fucking win, especially in spectacular fashion. He should be facing Tommy Aspinall for that interim fucking title. He should be next in line as well, just like Tommy's been in the talks. Like, I would hate to see that for Tom, but we know how they're doing shit with John Jones. It's going to be John and Steve Bay when John's healthy. I don't want to see Tommy fucking sit on the sidelines for the entire year this year. So if Alton Almeida fucking looks great, let's get some prospects against each other. Almeida's fucking pushing his way up towards that contention. You got Mateusz Gamrot, Song Yadong. Those are easy guys. It's fucking always been exciting, always been in contention. They get big wins this weekend. They're getting good names under their fucking belt. It's going to fucking push them closer. There's a fight. You got Poirier and Saint Denis. I think this is the fight I'm the most excited for on this entire fucking card. Like, what is Saint Denis really made of? How good is this guy facing one of the best to ever fucking do it? And then what does Poirier have left? Like, there's, to me, so much at stake with this. The storyline is actually pretty good. And we know it's going to be a fucking absolute war. We get 5 rounds of it. We know how both of these dudes fight. I'm fucking so excited for it. Had to put that fight in there. And my last contender I'm throwing out, Kyler Phillips. I put Pedro Munoz in the can. Kyler Phillips hasn't like been the most exciting since he got in the UFC, but he's won the majority of his fights. He did beat Harney Barcelos in his last fight. So he's finally stepping his way closer to those top guys. Now you're getting a chance. So a guy that's always been facing top guys, even though he's lost his fights, he's kind of been in the fight, always been a tough guy. We'll see what Kyler Phillips can really do. I feel like he's more with Peter Yan for me on the fence kind of thing, but the kid's got potential to fucking make himself a contender this weekend. He gets the win. Love to hear what you brothers got for your cans of contenders. It's definitely a lot to choose from.
Oh, there is a lot to choose from. Absolute fucking can, and I will continue to say it over and over again because I just don't fucking like the guy. Michel Ferreira. That dude, get absolutely fucked. Your fuckery that he does, and you know what? He's gonna have a fucking hard time of seeing who can do the most fuckery because we have to watch Michael Venom Page this weekend. Between him and Page, those two can both get the fuck out. Why the UFC signed an aging Michael Venom Page, I refuse to call him by his nickname that everybody wants to shorten it to because he's not. He's a fucking bench warmer. There's a reason why it took him this long to get into the UFC. I'm just saying. If it takes you that fucking long, you're obviously not that fucking good. It took you that late into your career to finally get good enough. Now, to the opposite side of that, I'm going to coin a Schrodinger's contender opposite of what Christian is saying here. And that is going to be our new guy out of Cuba. The reason for this is, yes, he's 35. How old was Yoel Romero when he started his professional MMA career? In his 30s. The Cubans have something in the fucking water.
Allegedly, there still have not been any confirmed sightings of Yoel's actual birth certificate.
Well, they're from
allegedly.
And allegedly, this guy is 35.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We're
making sure.
Allegedly. You can say allegedly all you want. As long as Cuba's records are all saying that they're in their 30s, that tells me there's something in the fucking water down in Cuba. So I'm going to put him right in the Schrodinger's contender spot here because they're literally serving an easy Josh Parisian
Yep.
on a plate. This is going to tell you whether the guy is worth his salt, because he should be able to put him fucking out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Also, to top this off, this guy has not left first round. He's been knocking everybody out in the first fucking round. The other kicker with this guy, heavyweight, he is now in the UFC, has the longest reach of anyone. Finally, someone that has a longer reach than John Jones. He has the longest reach in the UFC now. So I have to put him in the Schrodinger's contenders position. Not because of anything else other than 4 knockouts. You're 35 coming out of Cuba, similar to a fucking Yoel Romero who was in his 30s. There's something to be said about that. I'm not saying that's going to happen. That's why he gets the Schrodinger's contender. He could be a he could be a contender. We're going to find out how quickly he dispatches Parisian. And Parisian is a pretty easy walkthrough for pretty much anyone coming in. To be honest, if Parisian loses this and they don't give him fucking walking papers, I don't know what the UFC is doing with their life. Now, on to the opposite side of all of this. Contenders, there's a lot of fucking contenders here. A fuck ton. And every one of these fights, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, has very big implications to their respective divisions. Well, not every fight, but most of the fights on this card. I mean, the Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Maddalena fight. Maddalena wins immediately in the title talks. God, and I hate to say this, Kevin Holland and fucking Michael Venom Page. If Michael Venom Page beats Kevin Holland immediately into the fucking rankings, coming in fresh into the UFC.
Oh, he'll probably get the next title shot. They don't want Bilal, man. They'll fucking go to London and they'll give
damn
MVP
right.
fucking Leon Edwards. Just
Man,
Englishman against Englishman.
You're looking at even the fucking co-main here in Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis. Look, that is the best fight on the fucking card, in my opinion.
Yep.
It honestly has fireworks all over it. But if I'm going to pick a fucking solid, I'm going to say contender, it's Jailton Almeida. The way he has been dispatching people, with the exception of fucking when he fought fucking, well, we're not going to talk about that fight because that was an oddball. Jailton Almeida has just been destroying people. He might not finish them, even though he should have, but he's just absolutely mauling everybody that gets a hold of him. And to be honest, I think he's going to fuck up the heavyweight division. I think the only person that will give him any trouble would be Tom Aspinall. But Tom Aspinall's a different breed when it comes to striking in the heavyweight division. Even John Jones' striking, I don't think is as good as Tom Aspinall's right now. He's just in a different fucking league. And the other one I got to put on here is fucking Matus Gamrot. That Polak, he's been looking pretty good. And, we love the Polish around here, so.
Hell yeah.
And unfortunately, RDA is on the back half of his fucking career on the downward slope, and you hate to see that, but, it is what it is.
Totally agree with everything you said, man. Gamrot, fucking weaponized cardio, similar to Habib and Merab. That's where I'm looking at it. Gamrot is literally like the lightweight version of Merab. And then fucking totally agree with you on your can, man. Like Michel Pereira. I think MVP's more on that contender. We'll see what he is really worth because he was fighting shitty competition for most of his career in Bellator. And
Probably still love Sean O'Malley too, don't you?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
lost a lot of respect for O'Malley, so it'll be nice to see Cheeto
Candy
put
loving
a
some bitch.
I definitely like his build up, but you never fucking like when the guy gets too fucking big. Gets the big head. He's not Conor McGregor, and it is the guy
Obviously
fucking
not. Did you see how much
worked his way close to the belt? They completely fucking
I'm just
he
saying
goes crazy.
they booed the shit out of him in Miami, so obviously he's not McGregor.
But I honestly expected to hear both of you fucking say Michel Pereira is the can. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Even if the dude's on a 6-fight winning streak, not here for that one at all. What do you got, Meter?
So, as ironically stacked as this card is, my can and my contender this week, like majority of my weeks, are situational here. Not necessarily because of the person themselves, but because of the situation that they find themselves in. ironically, they're back to fucking back here. So my can this week is actually the early prelim opener, or early premier prelim, excuse me, Ian Cutelaba. Like, Ian Cutelaba is middle of the road by anyone's standards, but they're really trying to give Felipe Lenz the extra push right now, even though he doesn't fucking deserve it. So he's absolutely a can of his own right. But in this particular situation where the UFC is actually trying to give Felipe a little more shine without intentionally wink, wink, nod, nod, shitting on Ian Cutelaba and giving him a match that's unfavorable for him, and then putting him as the fucking premier prelim as a dude who was screaming for title chances not that fucking long ago, Cutelaba is just shitting himself all the way out of the fucking door. So he belongs on his way out the door in the early prelims. But against Lenz here, I think it's a little extra shit shine. The other side of that coin, though, the glare here comes right before then. TJ kind of mentioned it. Michel Pereira is a fucking joke. I don't know that Michel Alexicek is the world breaker that some people think he is, but I think in this situation, he has the chance to come out looking like a fucking hero. If he just goes out there and does what he does every time and just is, averagely good at everything he does, it should, in my opinion, be enough to shut down the flashy bullshit, the showy nonsense, the arrogant fucking fight bullshit that Michel Pereira does, and make him look like an ultimate fucking badass. I mean, he's good on his own. I would give him contender status in this fight generally, but against a guy like Pereira, extra fucking Lion King Simba fucking pride. Hold him up for the fucking crowd to roar. Like, give that man the faith.
I like that one. Situational or not, I actually think that's a good one. Alexejczyk has always been exciting. He's been a little back and forth in the UFC, but the dude's 29 fucking years old too. So like the situation you're talking about is fucking perfect, especially for most of us hardcore fight fans. You don't fucking give a fuck about Michel Pereira at all. Dude's on a 6-fight fucking winning streak. Let's see that hype bullshit the UFC's been trying to hype up get stopped right the fuck in their tracks and give a young kid some real fucking momentum. I like it. I like that shit a lot. Appreciate both of you boys. It was good shit. We got a lot of fucking contenders this week, and I can't wait to fucking get to it.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that brings us to the point in the podcast where we've got a segment that actually requires its own individual disclaimer. Tapology.com does not in any way, shape, or form support, sponsor, or endorse the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology.com does offer you the option to go onto their site and create a free account and make fantasy-style MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even give the option to make a group to make a group on their site. So we did just that. We call it I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965. However you need to find it. It is open to the public, and we absolutely encourage and endorse, wink, wink, anyone who wants to go onto the site, make themselves an account, join our group, and let us know who the fuck you are so we can hold your picks accountable with ours in a little segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
Hey, sir. Oh, I'm gonna jump right back into last week's event there. Rosenstrike and fucking Ziv. What a fucking card that I didn't watch. I said it last week that I was not going to watch it. I legitimately caught one full fight, and that was the final fight of the night in Rosenstrike, and that was just me praying to God Rosenstrike was gonna get a knockout in like the fucking second round or some shit, which unfortunately he didn't get till like the fourth, which kind of fucking, but whatever. Now, so what we're gonna do is jump right into this here. The fight card I don't fucking watch. I nailed 10 of 11 picks, take the top spot. Amazing. I don't get to even bask in my glory while watching the fights as it happens because I didn't fucking watch it, but my picks were spot on.
And that makes you feel better. We battled the whole fucking card just like this. The whole fucking card.
And you know what? You guys all knew I wasn't watching it, and I didn't get an update from none of y'all. You know who I got updates from? Don, as he was tripping over his dick at the fucking bottom. Oh, that was a great segue into that. Thank you. Unfortunately, Don, 7-11 north of fucking 500, but just couldn't fucking get the perfects or any of the decisions correct. It just didn't fucking roll the way you thought it was. I mean, it did, but it didn't. Everybody in the group was well north of fucking 500 in the picks, which is great. Another fucking kudos to everybody to say, yeah, Don tripped over his dick. That's a hard fucking sell even on that one. Because I mean, we've steadily the last couple of weeks, except for that one fluke, everybody has been well north of 500. It's easy to say somebody trips over the dick when they only get 4 of fucking 11 right. But Don was 7-11, man. He was only 4 off the fucking. He was 3 off the lead as far as picks correct are concerned. So it was a weird showing. Christian took a little step backwards there too, because he looked like he was trying to fight Don for the bottom spot at one point, according to the points I'm seeing there. So, and apparently Donna wanted to be down there too, because she wasn't too happy with her fucking picks there. Because I did talk to them on Sunday. I was over at their house. Now, with all of that being said, and knowing where everything is sitting right now, we're gonna take a look and see where we are in the Grand Prix. And the Grand Prix fucking is being an asshole. Reloaded. There we go. Currently, even after Donna's fucking trip up this week, she's still sitting in the top spot with 2,265 points. Even with a great showing this week by myself in 10 fucking of 11 correct, still sitting in second place, 2,215 points. Only a 50-point spread between us. Christian, even with your bad showing, you're only fucking 60 points behind me. And fucking Meter's only fucking 50 points behind you. Don, on the other hand, is 200 points behind Meter. And Vinny had a good week this week. He's still 100. Well, no, he's 35 points behind fucking Don. So right now is how it's standing with a couple of weeks left to 300. We're at UFC 299 this weekend. There's still time to make that comeback for everybody in the group. Somebody can really trip and hit their shit bad. And that could make all the difference in the fucking world. So stay tuned and we'll let you know on a weekly basis where everybody's sitting in this leaderboard as far as our Grand Prix is concerned. But right now, it's shaping up to be a hell of a fight going in there. And I'm here for it. Now, with all that being said, let's move on to this week with our odds. Now, to absolutely no one's surprise again, the UFC has managed to make it to where there's not very many fucking wide odds on the card from top to bottom. They're pretty coin flippy. I'm going to cover a couple of them, and as always, I'll cover the main and co-main. I would love to cover the whole card, but we don't got that kind of fucking time. We got a pit to get to. So, one of the biggest, widest odds on the fucking card here, we're going to CJ Vergara and the dude from fucking Uzbekistan. I can't say his name. Asu Albayev. I'm probably martyring that. But they've got CJ sitting as a plus 425 underdog to a minus 600 to Asu. The Uzbeki's got a pretty large fucking wide margin for a new guy in the fucking UFC. I'm saying it's a pretty big disparity there. Now, to go along with my Schrodinger's contender pick, I'm gonna go ahead and call this one out because this one's on the fairly wider odds side here. As I said, Josh Parisian, and I'm not gonna try to fuck up his name until I hear it a couple times, but they've got Josh sitting as a plus 275 underdog. And the brand newbie coming off the street as a minus 350 fucking favorite. Apparently, they like them Cubans with longer reach than John Jones in heavyweight. Little strange odds for a guy coming off with only 4 wins, 35 years old. But hey, they're from Cuba. They do things.
I heard from a podcast, you pronounce his name Robalis Despani.
Oh, you go ahead and figure that out. I'll figure that out.
That's the best pronunciation we can come up with. Robalis Despani. There you go.
Sounds good to me. Oh, The other widest fucking one on the card here is going to be the Matus Gamrot and RDA fight. They have RDA coming in as a plus 350 underdog. And Matthias Gamrot as a minus 500 favorite. Not a huge surprise of anybody. Like I said earlier, RDA is kind of on that downslope. However, you can't count him out because he's a crafty old veteran at this point. So if you're gonna maybe make a little silly bet, that might be the one to do it on. Now, I'm gonna do the co-main here first. Benoit Saint-Denis and Dustin Poirier. Pretty close to a coin flip. We got Dustin Poirier coming in as the fucking underdog, higher ranked than Benoit Saint-Denis, but his underdog that they're giving him is a plus 170 underdog. Not too bad, whereas they're giving Benoit Saint-Denis a minus 210 favorite. So like I said, kind of close to a coin flip, but I also think that that's a slap in the face of Dustin Poirier. You know, to be honest, I think that should be more of a near even. Like they could give them both a minus 110 and I'd be fucking happy with it. To be honest, I still think Dustin should have the fucking the odds in his favor, but you know, what do I know? Guy's former champ, fucking broke Conor McGregor's leg, knocked him out once. Yeah. What more do you fucking need to point out? I mean, don't get me wrong, Benoit Saint-Denis has been showing he's an obvious fucking problem. But I don't think he's that big of a problem. But you know, they do bring big problems to Dustin Poirier, and he tends to sort them out rather well. So we'll see where this fucking lands us. Oh, on to the main event: Marlon Chito Vera versus Clown O'Malley. Unfortunately, they do have the clown bringing in his clown suit and his cotton candy, sitting as a minus 275 favorite over a plus 220 in Cheeto. Those odds are fucked up. If you don't think so, go watch the press conference. There's nobody rooting for fucking O'Malley right now. That's Cheeto all day. That is the fight you bet the fucking house on. Vera's stopped him once before. He will stop him again. He goes, oh, I got hurt. Yeah, that's because Cheeto fucking hurt you. That's how that works. Check kicks, throwing leg kicks. No wonder your leg was fucked up. Don't come up with excuses. But everything else, top to bottom of the card, coin flips. The MVP, Kevin Holland, coin flip. Gilbert Burns, Madalena, coin flip. Peter Yan, Song Yong, coin flip. Fucking Blades, Almeida, coin flip. The rest of them, just down the fucking card, coin flips, other than the ones I've mentioned that are obvious. But it's all coin flips across the board. So this is another one of those weeks where it's a good idea to go ahead and make some parlays because that's where you're going to make your fucking money. Get 3 or 4 or 5 fights right in a parlay and, you know, make yourself some money that way. Otherwise, you ain't making money this week. But those are the odds. If you don't know, come join us over on Tapology, Group 965, or I'm No Bookie. Let us know who you are. That way we can pat you on the back when you do well, tell you you've tripped over your dick or your vagina when you have done so. And then we'll be able to get you into the next round of our playoffs coming up after UFC 300. You get right into that fucking run. And we'll let you know where you really sit in the fucking stacks here. But we'll see y'all next week for the follow-ups on all of the fuckery that comes after 299.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So with that being said, it'd be a little difficult for those of you who are just listening to the audio version, but for those of you who are watching the video version, whether you're catching this live or on a replay, you will know by the terrifying gif that has just rolled across the screen that this is the point in the show where we dial back to he's and we get down to the fuck yous. This is where we take things from fun to competitive, where things go from informative to I'll fucking kill you. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a little thing we like to call the bit. This evening, with a pay-per-view on the line, UFC 299 Miami is upon us, so the pit must be open. Golf to you ready?
Ready as I'm gonna fucking be on short notice. Thanks for the short notice.
You're welcome. Christian, you ready to run the show?
Damn right. This is gonna be a fun one. It's always a good time when you boys get after it. All right, so since I'm fucking judging golf tee, I hope you are fucking ready. Meter messaged me earlier tonight asking if I'd be willing to fucking judge, and I was like, "Oh, I knew you'd fucking have something under your belt there." The something was just surprising you that you're getting after it.
Trying to
So
give it
because
every
of that,
advantage you can. Good fucking luck, sunshine.
oh yeah. So I'll throw an advantage your way, sir. I'll let you fucking pick. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'm gonna go first. I'm short notice. I like the idea of taking everything short notice. So that way,
Fuck
when I
yeah.
beat his ass at the end, go ahead and say all that short notice shit you want.
I like this.
No excuses here. No excuses.
Fuck yeah, that's the way you
Unless you
do
Sal Diamato me, then I'm coming for
it.
you.
Oh no, I'm a fucking good judge, man. I know what a fucking fight is. I'm pretty sure that's why Meter asked me to do it. It ain't gonna be no
That's right.
Chris Lee or
We
Sal
can have
Diamato,
we can have no hokey pokey Christian in here.
Derek Cleary, all those motherfuckers. Oh, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. All right. So since you're going first, brother, let's start out with the worst shit. Let's just get it knocked out of the way. What the fuck are you not looking forward to? The what the fuck fight on this card? There's not a lot of them. So I'm actually interested in what you boys got to fucking say with this round. I feel like this is a good way to start. So golf tee, start off with you, brother. What's your what the fuck fight? The one you just give no fucks about on this card.
It's not so much the fight itself, it's the placement. I'm gonna come out right now and say that. Kevin Holland and MVP. Michael Venom Page, fuck him. I love Kevin Holland. Can't stand Michael Venom Page. Haven't been able to stand him since he was in fucking Bellator and even before that. Dude's a fucking scumbag. Anyhow, why is that the people's co-main event? Why not the Gilbert Burns Jack Della Maddalena fight? That one should be people's co-main event in my fucking opinion. But you know, fuck do I know? I think that they're way overhyping the shit out of this because, oh my God, it's Michael Venom Page. He's coming from Bellator and he does stupid shit like roll fucking Pokeballs across the fucking octagon. Go fucking jump in front of a truck. Get this fight the fuck out of here. The only reason I want to watch this fight is so I can watch Kevin Holland talk shit to him while he beats him down. That's it. Other than that, this fight can go all the way to the fucking early prelims for all I care.
Hell yeah. Good fucking answer. What do you got, Meter? Fucking over to you side. What's your what the fuck fight for this weekend?
So I will say, fuck MVP. I agree. That being said, though, there's one fight on this card that just it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. The fight doesn't make any sense. The placement doesn't make any sense. The alleged, I say with air quotes for those of you just listening, implications that the fight have don't make any fucking sense. It is the premier prelim fight on the actual prelims, not the earlies, but the prelims itself. Curtis Blades versus Jailton Almeida. Number 5 versus number 7. Now, to start off with, Curtis Blades does not in any fucking world deserve to hold the number 5 fucking status. That being said, what's even worse than that is Curtis has basically spent the last week, anytime anyone put a camera anywhere fucking near him, holding it desperately and screaming, when I win, I want a title shot. No. Secondly, you don't get a title shot out beating number 7. You're not Khabib, dude. Stop it. That's not how this works. But even more than that, Jailton Almeida is one of the better, well-rounded heavyweights we have. Curtis Blades' predominant only real strength is his wrestling. We've seen Jailton Almeida be able to stop and do his own wrestling fairly easily with most everybody we've seen him up against. But that brings us to the old heavyweight conjecture here. We've got a wrestler versus a wrestler, so we're set up for a potentially boring 15-minute Waller slap fight, and we don't fucking need that in Miami. This is spring break town. Get the bodies out there. Let the fat guys stand in the back.
I fucking like it.
Guy?
I fucking like it. That's a good way for the both of you to fucking start. This is a good first round. Not really what I expected from you, Meter. I wouldn't think too many people think it's a what the fuck fight just because of how excited we are for Holden Almeida. But the explanation got me, man. You fucking came in swinging. Golf D came out with a bang, and fucking Meter came back. All right, so I mean that pulls us in the second round. We're doing close scoring like we've been doing, so nobody knows shit of what's going on until the very fucking end. Golf D shaking in his face,
I'm so scared right now.
So second fucking round, started back with Meter. So flip that fucking coin. What's the most excited fight you got for this weekend? If you were to introduce a family member, your mother, your brother, your sister, somebody that's never seen MMA, what the fuck are you recommending for UFC 299 when we're going down to Vice City?
So, in a card with this many potential fun fights on it, it's kind of easy to look at the low hanging fruit, but I tend to like that old Little Mermaid approach. Put your hands through and separate that shit, because the good stuff is behind that. If you look through all the easy low hanging fruit, there's a gem just glimmering in the back in the fucking starlight there, and that is Mateusz Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos. Aside from the fact that we've got the next generation of legendary Polish power working his way up the rankings, already number 6, trying to chop his way into the actual title conversation. This is a historic fight, just as long as the two of them step into the cage, because this will be the first time in a literal decade since 2014, when RDA fought Khabib, that Rafael dos Anjos has not been on a main card. A decade. So this gives us the choice. We either see Gamrot give RDA essentially his walking papers, or RDA bitch slap Father Time and say, not in my house, motherfucker. Either way, I'm fucking here for how that fight shakes out. And the fact that it's in the middle of the fucking prelims, Hunter and fucking Mick need to be slapped for that one.
Oh, I completely agree with you on that. The fucking placement of this fight, very fucking questionable. So it's much appreciated. You just gave that fight some fucking spotlight. That one could have easily been put on the fucking main card. Damn sure should be in that spot of Chukagi and a Macy Barber. That's one of the most fucked up. That fight is above that. Confusing as all hell. So flip that over back to you, Golf T. What the fuck is your favorite fight on this card? The fight that you have to recommend to somebody that's just getting into MMA.
Everybody thinks there's a hidden gem in the back, but they're always overlooking the shit that's up front because, oh, they've got to hide the good shit in the back. No, that's not always the fucking case. Sometimes the good shit is clean in front of your fucking eyes. You don't have to look far for it. Go straight to fucking Gilbert Burns and Jack Della Maddalena. I'm telling you. Gilbert Burns.
I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. I was about to Kanye West your fucking speech here, because I thought you were about to start telling us how great fucking Joanne Woods was, and I was going to interrupt your fucking answer here. You just scared the shit out of me, dude.
Yeah. Apparently you don't know your front and your back. Oh, fucking Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns is always fucking game. He's the first person that we've watched take Hamzat the fucking mile. Fucking Jack Della Maddalena. Fucking up and coming from Australia. Look, that nose didn't get fucked up for no reason. He's willing to take them shots and keep on fucking coming. Look, that's a scary fucking Australian looking to pole vault himself from the fucking 10 spot, or excuse me, the 11 spot up into the top 5 where Gilbert Burns is sitting. This has fireworks written all over it. That welterweight, those boys do have some gas tanks in them, and they will keep going. Gilbert Burns is kind of like the fucking Energizer Bunny. He doesn't fucking stop. And well, when you look across the fucking Jack Della Maddalena, he's been making people stop and just fucking outgassing them. Now, is he going to be able to do that to Gilbert Burns? I don't fucking know. Hamzat couldn't do it. I'm just saying, this has a lot of fucking potential. Do I think it's fight of the night? No. but it has one of the greatest potentials on the fucking card to introduce somebody into a fucking good solid fight. I can guarantee it's not going to be fucking boring.
I love that fucking answer for sure. I was a little fucking surprised by it. Yeah, I thought the direction you were going, maybe you were going to talk Dustin Poirier, maybe Benoit Saint Denis or something like that. But I definitely wasn't thinking what Meter thought. Whenever you saying towards the front, you just go. I think that's where Meter got confused. You talking about towards the front, so he's like, "Oh, first fight of the night."
Yeah, he probably confuses holes too. They call those oops moments.
As long as you don't say that's what you meant to do, it's an accident. Wink.
So I'm enjoying this so far. You boys are fucking throwing it down. That pulls us into the fights, what I just touched on, right? Neither one of you went for the lowest hanging fruit. And mainly because we get our own fucking round just to talk about that. Co-main event. What many of us are thinking is going to be the most exciting fight on this fucking card, the one we are the most excited for. To start it back out with Golf Tee, I want to hear what you boys got, how you think shit's going to shake out, what you expect for well, not tomorrow night, fucking Saturday night. We still got 2 more sleeps. I keep forgetting. I'm all fucked up with that. 2 more sleeps. But what do you fucking think's happening in the co-main event? Poirier versus Saint Denis.
Well, I guess this puts me back on the chopping block, and I'm gonna go against something I said earlier. People are counting out fucking Dustin Poirier, and I think they might be right. They're coming off of a hard fucking loss to Justin Gaethje. First person to put him away in a long fucking time. A long time. Whereas on the flip side of this coin, you got a Benoit Saint Denis who came in the UFC kind of lackluster with his first fight. Lost a decision. But since that fight, he has finished every goddamn fight in his way to victories. There's a reason why he's been pole vaulted to the spot that he's in. He's been knockout, submission, knockout, knockout, submission. That's his fucking MO. I think we have a good chance of seeing the top of the pack finally be shaken up again. Because the lightweight been kind of stagnant up there a little bit. With the exception of the fucking current champ. But that's to be fucking expected. Especially Khabib retired. Everything kind of got stagnant sitting up there. Instead, now they're coming up with all these fucking crazy stupid fights where they'll throw a lightweight and welterweight at each other and call it a great UFC 300 fucking... No, get the fuck out of here. But on this one, Dustin Poirier still has a fucking great fucking... He's a great fighter, 100%. But I think Benoit Saint Denis gets this taken care of. And to be honest, I think he gets him out of there in the second round. Second round, I'm calling Benoit Saint Denis via knockout. We're seeing back-to-back knockouts from Dustin Poirier, and not in his favor.
I definitely can fucking see that. I don't want to see that, but I'd love to hear what you got on it, Meter. How do you think the co-main event's gonna fucking shake out this weekend?
So it's a little tough. On one hand, Saint Denis has been an absolute fucking steamroller. Every time he stepped into the fucking cage, he's looked even just the slightest bit better than he did the time before, and the time before that, and the time before that. And that's the right fucking trend for him to be having. On the other side of that, Dustin Poirier is absolutely the toughest fucking challenge Saint Denis has even thought about fucking facing in his entire career. The silver lining for him, though, is that at this point, not only is Dustin coming in off of one of the most brutal fucking KOs he's had in his whole career, He's coming in to a Dustin Poirier now, who aside from that knockout is just literally stacking damage on damage on damage on damage, because Dustin Poirier doesn't have easy fights. None of them, not a single fucking one. And that mileage adds up. Dustin Poirier at this point has become one of those Crown Vics that you see on the government auction websites, and it looks fucking perfect. The tires are brand new. The leather is all still fucking immaculate. The dash doesn't have a single fucking crack from the sun on it. And then you look at that odometer and there's 650,000 fucking miles on it. And you go, nope, not worth the value. That's what we've got in this fight. Yes, Dustin Poirier still looks like he can play the part, but those of us who've been paying attention know that those miles still matter. Even if you try and hide the odometer, you try and roll that motherfucker back, it doesn't matter, because those miles matter. Those miles are still there. And though Dustin Poirier might have been at one point very great, we are far from that point now. We are much closer to the exit point, and with a very serious potential brutal knockout loss to follow up here, we could be looking at Dustin's potential final fight, full stop. I don't know if Saint-Denis has what it takes to put Dustin out bad enough to retire him, but I do know at this point he's at the very least got enough to take him to a disappointing decision and make Dustin rethink everything. And I think that's where we go this weekend.
Both of you laid it out pretty fucking well. I'm disappointed neither one of you took that side that you think Poirier's gonna have a comeback. But you know, like Mater just said, it is very true. Every fight he's been in has damn near been a war. He's getting up there in years. He's taking a shit ton of damage, and just like we saw with Volk, man. Once you start getting older in general, this sport's just not kind to you anymore. And these younger guys are just getting better and better and better. They've been fucking doing MMA their entire lives compared to some of these guys that are getting up in years. They did it for half their life. There's just a huge difference in that. I definitely am on that side that I think Poirier is going to fucking kind of bounce back. He's never lost 2 in a row. But both of you fucking made those good points, that it is hard to have as much optimism, especially after just getting knocked out by Justin Gaethje. I mean, even his fight against Michael Chandler the other year, he took some fucking licks in it, even though he gave Chandler the licks back. It's just, it's tough to think Poirier will still be the same Poirier this weekend. It's just, you know, watching the dude my whole fucking life, ever since I was a little kid with my dad. It's just like so many guys. You don't want to see that happen, but it's always going to happen. Like, that's just how a fighter's fucking career ends. It's them getting their fucking ass beat and holding on to that last bit of pride and just taking more ass beatings until they finally realize, you know what? There's no hope left. They're all crazy motherfuckers. It takes a lot for them to ever make that decision to call it. Dustin's also been talking about that. That's where I like both of you making that point. He's been talking about it for weeks leading up to this fight. And if he loses, it's probably going to be the last fucking one. Whenever you as a fighter start putting that shit out there too, this could be the end. That's it. No, you're in the wrong fucking state of mind. He may not have that same dog that we've seen him have. Yeah, I'm worried about it. But love how you boys pointed that out there. This is a really fucking competitive pit so far. This is making my job difficult judging. Now, can you boys hype up something that I'm not that excited about? I would love to see Cheeto Vera whoop Sean O'Malley's ass. I'd love to see Cheeto Vera become the first Ecuadorian champion in the UFC. That fucking crowd at the press conference, totally for him. I love it. The fucking crowd on Saturday night is probably going to be behind him as well. So that excites the fuck out of me. He's one of the most durable guys we've ever fucking seen in the UFC. Dude literally just doesn't take damage in any fight that he's ever in, let alone get finished. And Meter put it out there last fucking week. We've been talking about it since. And O'Malley's bitch ass has never really had a true knockout his entire fucking career. So what do you boys think is going to fucking happen? We'll start out with you, Meter. How do you see the fucking main event shaking out Saturday night?
The year was 2001. place, the Arizona deserts. A man driving a bright yellow full-size Chevy conversion van excessively fast down the highway with a sledgehammer mounted directly on the front windshield. Veers stonily in and out of traffic with an ego no building could contain. That man has shoulder-length, cotton candy, wavy, ridiculous fucking hair, and he thinks that the world is just another ant to be crushed beneath his fucking boot. That man is an idiot, and I know because that man was me. I've been literally where Sean O'Malley is, and I know how fucking stupid you have to be to own that position, because I was that fucking stupid. I also have been watching MMA longer than Sean O'Malley has been alive. So I'm also educated now enough to recognize the ignorance of ignoring opposition of the level of Cheeto. And that's exactly what Sean O'Malley has done nothing but do since Cheeto kicked his leg out from underneath him and then elbowed him into unconsciousness to give him the first loss that dipshit still cannot acknowledge. It's there, Sean, like it or not. The good part, though, is that this weekend we get to see an even better version of the Ecuadorian equalizer step into the cage and knock that bozo show reject the fuck out of the zeitgeist and back to the fucking prelims where that clown belongs. Viva la Cheeto, motherfuckers.
I love it. That was a fucking fantastic way to fucking put things. Putting your own fucking life story in the mix. This is like Nostradamus, you know? You got the fucking inside knowledge because you lived it yourself, just like you said, man. Can't fucking overlook a guy like Cheeto Vera either. Dudes, it's like Max Holloway. Dudes just can't even be fucking scathed. What the fuck is he gonna do other than dance around the cage for 25 minutes and try to not get touched by Cheeto? What do you got, TJ? How do you fucking see this goddamn shit going? You think the fucking clown's somehow gonna get it done?
You know, it's really ironic when somebody decides to say they've been where the clown is at. I'm guessing what they don't realize is they're probably still there and they're about to lose their spot at the top or what they think is the fucking top. They don't have to have the clown hair to make that happen. Just because you have a Cheeto-esque beard doesn't mean that you get to be Cheeto in this situation. I think we see the clown go down again from another one of Cheeto's great fucking performances, and the clown will still, at this fucking point, continue to say, well, he didn't beat me, even though that strap is going to be over the shoulder of fucking Cheeto, taking it all the way fucking back to Ecuador. Fucking let that country have finally a fucking win. So they need one. Look, we saw him get him out of there in the first fucking round the first time those two met. First fucking round. Sean O'Malley could barely beat fucking Peter Yan in a goddamn split decision to get his shot at fucking Aljo. We knew Aljo was suspect from fucking day one, so it's not a surprise that a clown can come in and beat another clown. I mean, fuck. We have a clown puncher for that reason. Now, Cheeto, he knows what to do. He's been here already. He's been down this road. He's durable. Never been submitted. Never been knocked down. Never been knocked out. He's one of the toughest fighters in the fucking UFC as far as durability is concerned. Also, he's got a pretty goddamn good fight IQ. Look, I don't have to hype Cheeto up. We know who Cheeto is. All we have to do is figure out what round does the clown go down. Because he's going to get finished again. We don't see the clown walk away from this victory again. In fact, he'll probably go out on crutches like he did last time. I'm just saying. Just a matter of not if, but when. My guess, I'm gonna give the clown a little bit of leeway here. I'm gonna say he takes him out in the third. Okay, third round, TKO of some sort. Whether it's fucking legs or just fucking beats him senseless with ground and pound. Yeah, something of that nature, but we don't see the clown fucking making it out of this alive.
I like it. I kind of feel the same way. I got Cheeto going round 4. And I think it'll only go deep because O'Malley's entire game plan will just be trying to dance around the fucking octagon like a little bitch, just like we saw Ian Gary do a few weeks ago against Jeff Neal. And he's going to gas himself out. And Cheeto always starts slow, tries to gain some fucking knowledge, and he turns it on in the later rounds. So I'll give the clown that shadow of a doubt. I think he'll last to the later rounds, but it'll be because that's his game plan. Play pussy. I love both of you guys' fucking answers. Like I said, I was all on the Sean O'Malley train for a bit, but just,
So you're a recovering addict. Look,
yeah.
the problem is
like I said,
once you're in recovery, you're always
it's the same with Patty Pimblett or any of these guys. Whenever Patty gets that win and has that fucking after fight speech talking about his friend committing suicide, and he's trying to advocate for men to, talk about their shit, try to seek fucking help. You don't want to see your friends fucking pass away. Like, that was a great moment. And then the kid becomes the most arrogant, dumb fucking piece of shit. You just have some humble to you, a little side of it. It's the same thing with O'Malley. You lost. It was a clear loss. Cheeto fucked your leg up, and then you got your ass beat. He got on top of you, elbowed the shit out of you. Just accept that, and if the dude could, there's just a lot of fucking shit. You lose respect for guys. I always like guys having the confidence, the bravado, like that. It's a fight. You want that. You want shit talking. You want all that. But when your head gets too fucking big, you start floating in the clouds. I can't do that. I'm a blue fucking collar, hardworking man. I want to fucking see somebody have some side of humble to them. And don't forget what the fuck they came from. It's one thing to work your ass off and achieve your goals, but once you get to that point and then you become the world's biggest piece of shit, I just can't fucking continue to support that. So I'd love to see the hardworking guy that's for the people go out there and whoop that fucking arrogant little ass this weekend. That's what I always root for. Fucking underdogs and the fucking blue collar hardworking dudes that just try to keep it real. Once you lose sight of that, I'm losing sight of you. So this is going to be the fun shit. This has been a good fucking pit. This has been difficult to judge. This is close as hell. This last round might decide who fucking takes it. And the last round's normally always the funnest because it doesn't pertain to the fucking card that we're talking about most of the time. I don't have the special notebook. Meter has the special notebook. We'll give Golf T the opportunity, just like we gave you the chance to choose if you wanted to go first or not. Do you want to choose your number, or do you want to answer first in the last round?
I'm actually going to pass prerogative and let the other clown hang himself.
All right, so Meter, choose your number so you can get the sticky note of fate.
So I'll flip that back around. I'm going to make TJ pick the sticky note, and I'm going to go first.
Well, yeah, he gets to hang himself first. No big deal. You give
1,
him
2, or 3.
you give him an inch, he tries to take a mile. Unfortunately, that rope is a lot shorter than you thought it was.
I'm used to dealing with stuff that's shorter than people expect.
You got him in a row. You got him in a row there.
All 3 of them.
Let's go the one in the middle.
I like that reaction.
I've been waiting to see when this one's going to get pulled.
What's the best dinosaur?
The best dinosaur. it's controversial, but it's indisputable because it's technically correct and technically is the best kind of correct. The best dinosaur in the world is the Stegosaurus, because not only was it one of the most versatile defensive and offensive, as well as longest lived dinosaurs that there were, its name is one of the greatest misnomers that has ever been created, because the word stego actually means roof. So its name is actually the roof lizard. A lizard that could not vertically jump is named the roof lizard. Stegosaurus, all day.
I like it. So what do you got, Golf T? What's the best dinosaur?
Best dinosaur in the world actually goes by multiple different names. Contrary to popular belief, it's not the Stegosaurus. In fact, it goes by many names, even to this day. Some of them start with a G, some of them start with a P, some of it starts with an F, some of it starts with an O. I'm talking about gas, petrol, propellant, fuel, oil, all of it. Dead fucking dinosaurs. It's the best fucking dinosaurs because I don't have to deal with them in my life.
Unless Seth Green has his way. They're working on rebringing back the mammoth.
Yeah, well, you know, there are exceptions to policy. Apparently they didn't watch fucking enough movies.
Okay, that's good shit. I think that might have fucking decided to tallying up the fucking final scores right the fuck now. Oh man, it's good shit. All right, so here's the fucking scores. My lighting is kind of shit, but here we got meter. You got a 48. Golf T, you got 49. Golf T took it in the last round. I couldn't help it. The fucking gas. Yeah, gas is straight up fossil fuel, man. It made from fucking dinosaurs. I'm all for it. It makes the world go around now. Not to mention, I love a lot of dinosaurs. Like T-Rex, the tiny little arms, Velociraptor. It'd be impossible for me to pick my favorite or the best. So Golf T fucking wins with that, right? Because it's all of them combined, man.
Right.
Motherfucking gas, all the dinosaurs combined. But I can fucking show the scores again. You both had the 10-10 first round. That first round was real fucking close. And then that round 4, that's where I had a fun time scoring this shit. You both fucking just had to tie a couple rounds. That first round, real fucking good. Both of you had fantastic answers. And then I loved both your fucking answers about the main event.
I fucking love it. That was a fun one.
Yeah, close as fucking nails. Golf T
Also,
fucking on short notice comes in and gets the goddamn win.
That's right. Put the asterisk next to this W. Short notice, still made weight, and got the W. Come at me, bro.
All right. It's all right. I'll take that L because we heard Christian say it himself. TJ took it in the end.
$20 is $20.
It's true. It's almost Easter, you know, and bunnies ain't cheap.
That's right. Those bikes sure as fuck aren't.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. Good shit. Good shit, gentlemen.
Good shit.
Well, boys and girls, children, that is what we've got for this particular episode. Thank you to everybody, whether you caught this on the video format that comes out on youtube.com/I'mNoJoe, or you're listening the week after we go live and anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe to your podcast consumption platform of choice. Wherever you're picking this up, we appreciate you. If you like what we get up to around here, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed and your notifications are turned on wherever you're picking this up. On the other side of that coin, if you don't like what we've gotten up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, we wrap things up here Thursday night. That is not the end of the fun. That's just the end of this particular show, because pretty much every Friday morning, this gentleman, wait, he's over here. Yeah. This gentleman and his other half break out their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over on Spreaker.com. Links for that, as well as their social media and their very own channel over on the I'm No Joe Discord server, all down below. Click, hit them up, and tell them that they're fucking awesome, because they are.
Appreciate the fuck out of you, brother. More than you boys fucking can understand. Love fucking getting to be a part of the podcast. The fun never fucking stops. Once we get around back to next fucking week, every fucking Wednesday night, best day of the week, hump day. You gotta fucking tune in, same fucking time, 9:30 or so. Your golf tee, vapes, YouTube channel. You gotta tune into the Foggy Fairway. If you're not into vapes, just show up, give the brother some love, have a good time. Otherwise, if you vape at all, man, fucking, you get some unbelievable recipes. Before we started the podcast, brothers were fucking talking about some Thin Mint cookie mixes and shit like that, and some fun fucking mixes and recipes that the boys come up with. Makes me want to vape. I don't fucking vape, but hearing the flavors you boys come up with makes me want to vape. So you got to fucking show the brothers some love. All of the fucking golf tees, links, and everything will be down below in the description as well. Make sure you tune in to the Foggy Fairway every Wednesday night. Show the brothers some fucking love.
Thanks for another fun fucking episode in the books here. Wow. For those of you know, Meter does like to clown around. In fact, he likes to clown around a lot. So if you go down below, there's a couple of link trees. 1/I'm No Joe, 1/Meter Does Many Things. I think we should add a third down there to the Meter Clowns Around, but they all take you to the same place where there is plenty of places to go see all of the clowning around that the Meter does do. It's well worth it. Enjoy it. This is going to be a one-off for the ending on this one for me, because it just so happened to fit this week. Thank y'all for having me. Fucking blast as usual. We'll see y'all next week.
Much appreciated, sir. Thank you very much. Well, with that being said, boys and girls, that is all we have got for this particular episode. Again, if you like what we get up to around here, thank you. We appreciate you kicking it. Whether you're listening or you're watching, we appreciate you just the same. But like we said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. So remember, boys and girls, until next time, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless it's Nikki Haley, I guess. Dumb bitch.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.